Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today we are talking about bad bourbon and bad bourbon reviews. It seems as though every time I review a whiskey I don't like and I talk realsies about it, people out there give me the most positive of feedback. They're like, way to go, Matt. Way to be honest, Matt. They give me the old virtual slap on the ass. But why is it? Why do people like negative reviews? I don't know. Maybe because I get a little bit angry. Maybe because I get a little upset, perturbed, ornery, fired up, pissed off. Maybe because I let my inner anger out. My anger animal. Those reviews also typically get more views. So why don't I make more negative bourbon videos? Why don't I review more whiskeys I don't like? First of all, it's not a lack of bad bourbon. It's not a lack of bad bourbon at all. If I wanted to go to the store and spend $5,000 on shitty bourbon, I could do that in a day. And I would probably get like 20 bottles because a lot of really bad bourbon is very overpriced. Next time you go into a store and you go to the bourbon center, go ahead and take a gander around. Take a gander around. Peruse, as they may say. And when you peruse, what you will notice is labels you've never heard of before. Labels that are brand new, from the top shelf to the bottom. The shelves are just exploding with bourbon you've never heard of before. If you love Elijah Craig's small batch or 1792 small batch for that $35 price point, and then you go into a store expecting to spend $70 on a random label on the shelf and you buy it, chances are it's probably not going to be as good as that Elijah Craig or 1792. If, of course, that is the flavor profile or the type of bourbon you were looking for. There are so many new labels out there, I don't think anybody can keep up. Not even the TTB. They don't even care anymore. Allegedly. The TTB is like, allegedly, like, whatever, just do whatever. It doesn't really matter, allegedly. Of course, I don't work for the TTB, but I think that maybe a lot of people with my disorder might, because a lot of things are overlooked, some would say. Anyway, my point is it's not a lack of bad bourbon. There's bad and mediocre and overpriced bourbon everywhere. The reason that I don't do more negative bourbon reviews or negative whiskey reviews is because I want to review good whiskey. When I walk into a store, I want to avoid the bad stuff. I want to find good stuff, buy it, review it, and tell you about it. Is every bottle I try gonna be right up my alley and directly up my ass? No. Of course not. But I'm not gonna intentionally go into a store and buy a bunch of bottles of whiskey I think are gonna suck. My goal here is to provide whiskey reviews and talk about the whiskey with yous that I really enjoy, or that I like, or that other people like, and then I see if I like what they like. It's not always necessarily going to be the case that I like what other people like, but I'm not spending my money on a bunch of crap. I'm not doing it. Typically what's going to happen, the negative reviews that I put out on the internet, the negative reviews that I make, when I really voice my opinion and speak my mind, and I do that on company time, which is when I have no company, which is always because nobody likes me. I don't understand why, but we'll get to the bottom of it eventually. If I get tricked into buying something I think is going to be good, or if I get duped, or if I pick up a product from a company that I typically enjoy, and I buy their product and I get it home and it's absolutely dog poo, or it's way overpriced, or it's just not good, if I feel like I spent my money on something that I thought was going to be good, or thought was going to be acceptable, or if I overspent my money on something and then I get it home and it's not great, that's when the negative review man comes out. That's when Grumpy McGrumperson sits in this chair with the frown on his face and says things he may regret later. When I go into a store trying to avoid all the bad stuff, like I'm canoeing a lake in Marinette, Wisconsin at 6 p.m. on an August night trying to avoid mosquitoes. I'm just dodging and weaving, bad bourbon, trying to get to the good stuff, and then I get to something that I think is going to be good, and then I pick it up off the shelf and I drop a Benji on it, and I get home, pop the cork, taste it, and throw the bottle across the room out of anger. Then I have to sweep up that glass and explain to my wife why the garage smells like alcohol's ass. That's when you get a negative review. That's when it happens. That's when I get fired up. When I do everything I can to avoid bad whiskey and then go with my gut and try to buy good whiskey and get home and gotcha, bitch. Well, if you get me bad, then guess what? I'm gonna get you back. Not gonna make bad reviews on purpose. Negative energy doesn't make me feel good. But, if I'm duped or tricked into buying a bottle, then guess what? You might be duped or tricked into buying the same thing. Because if we like the same stuff and we see something on the shelf that we're like, ooh, we like that stuff, and then we buy that stuff and that stuff isn't what we like, then I'm trying to save you money. I'm trying to step in for you and say, whoa, brother, whoa, sister, hey, ladies, guess what? Guess what? That thing that tricked me might trick you, and I don't want it to trick you if it already tricked me, because one trick is better than two. Unless, of course, you're turning them for money. In which case, more power to you. Turn as many tricks as you need to pay rent this month. Which I might have to do. That's a rant. That's a friggin' rant. If you love this content so much, and you feel like you want to help me pay rent, go on over to my Patreon page. It's linked in the description below. If you like the content but don't like it that much, then at least hit the subscribe button while you're here. Go ahead and do that and make me the happiest 280-pound ginger man in this garage right now. Do that for me. My name is Matt, this is ADHD Whiskey, and like I always say, keep your head in the clouds but your mind on the best $9 bourbon on the planet. I saw this in a store on clearance for $9. It's Spirits of the Apocalypse Walking Dead Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's 94 proof, and I bought this bottle back in 2019 when it was first released for like $40. For a $40 bottle, bad. Nah, I wouldn't recommend it for $40. For $9, oh, did you hear that? Weird. Apocalypse. See what I did there? See what I did there? I did the thing first and then the bourbon review second. Totally crazy on my part. Can't really swirl that well underneath. Oh, you can still swirl. Little SJ on the aged hour. Spirits of the Apocalypse receives a score from me tonight of 6.5. It's pretty good, especially for $9.